So Jesus often teaches using these sort of parables, these stories with a message. So I want to have you help me think about this story a little bit, and we're going to play a little bit of a game together. It's called Yes, No, Maybe. So if I tell you a story or a person in the story that you think we should behave like, you're going to give it a thumbs up. That's a yes. You're going to give it a thumbs down, a no. You're going to give it a, maybe not quite sure. Okay? So do we want to be like the person who's been beaten? Probably not, right? Do we want to be the person who does the beating? Nope, we don't want to be like that person. Do we want to be the priest who walks on by? Nope. Do we want to be the Levite, another religious leader who walks on by? Nope. Do we want to be like the Samaritan, the one who helps? Maybe, yes. Okay, the innkeeper, the one who keeps the injured one. Maybe. Okay, so we have some consensus and some we're not quite sure about. And I'm guessing we all know that we should not be the one who beats up on other people, literally or figuratively, right? We don't want to harm other people. That's not how we behave as followers of Jesus. And we could talk about how we should not act like the priest or the Levite and look the other way when someone is hurting. And I've often preached a sermon to you all about how we should be like the Samaritan, how of the three who are going by, this is the one who is least likely, based on stereotypes of the day, to be the helpful, merciful, compassionate one, but they are the one that actually does help. But I've never really thought about the innkeeper. They didn't really play much of a role in my mind about this story, but they do have an important role to play because they accept the one who is hurt. They don't turn them away. And we do hear that they take payment, but they don't ask for more up front. They don't say, but nobody else is going to want to come here if there's somebody who's injured here. And they don't say, what's in it for me? Rather, the story just says that they pretty much agree, right? That's all we get. They had space, they had ability, so they did. The church is like that too. Our building should be like an inn, providing safe space. We offer safe space for support groups to meet many nights of the week. Safe space for kids to learn and grow every day when the preschool's open as well. Safe space for Girl Scouts to gather and learn and grow. Safe space for music groups to practice their craft. Safe space for games to be played. And of course, safe space for us to be the church, to gather to pray, to learn, to consider how we might be the hands and feet working in our community to spread love. In so many ways, our church, especially our property and BBM folks who oversee our building and oversee our finances, are the innkeepers of our space. Together, we are the ones with our gifts, small gifts, large gifts, time, talent, and finances. We are the ones who provide upkeep for this space. We are the ones who provide safe space for the many who come through the doors of our building. And we are the ones who, like the innkeeper, trust that there will be more funds coming to cover what we need. The story of the Good Samaritan is a story where there is hurt brought to a human, where there is a whole system that's failing to protect people, where mercy and compassion are not being extended by those who could and should have. But a Samaritan and an innkeeper show up and do what is merciful. They do what is compassionate. They do what is needed. And yes, there is money used to provide food for the injured, space for them to rest and to get better, likely to keep the room clean, to pay the staff, to make sure that there's enough funds to be open another day. With this, though, something more happens. This hurt person is seen. They are cared for, and safe space is provided. So in this story, who are you? My guess? You got an answer? Which one? The Good Samaritan. That is 100% the right answer. Yup. However, if the grown-ups are being honest, we might be the priest or the Levite looking the other way. But we are invited to be the Good Samaritan, to lean into being the innkeeper. We are invited to see where there is hurt and to do what we can to provide. We are invited to also tend to our space, to tend to our walls, so that we might be safe space for everyone, especially those for whom safe space is hard to come by. This is hard. This takes courage. But church, we can do it with our gifts, remembering that no gift is too small. With our dreams, remembering that no dream is too big. For together, we are the church, and together, we can send out those ripples beyond these walls and within them. And being the church matters. Being the church matters today. Thanks be to God. Amen.